Welcome to My Daddy's Garage. In this episode, we're going to be doing the recorder panels in carbon fiber. I'm going to take you through the process that I go through to actually do it, and talk a little bit about the other ways of doing carbon fiber and the reason why I'm opting to do this one. Okay, this is the fun part. I don't know if you can see me or not. I'm just using an iPhone and a tripod, so I can't see what it sees. So anyhow, this is the fun part. Wax on, wax off. Okay, the part all paste is applied. Now it's time for the part all cover film that helps to release the mold. All right, I've applied 4 coats of paste wax and an additional 3 coats of the part all film, ensuring easy release of the carbon fiber panel from the Corvair. When you're doing this yourself, make sure that you have adequate coverage of the paste wax and the film, because if it's not done properly, you may have a very hard time releasing it from the plug or the mold, whatever you're using. And if it's not done well, you may never get the two separated. So take your time in applying both of those and make sure you have adequate coverage. Okay, next I'll be applying 4 layers of 6-ounce satin weave carbon fiber cloth with the epoxy, building it up to a solid piece. Later, when I'm actually attaching the Corvair body to the Tesla, I'll be adding a honeycomb sandwich core where needed to stiffen the panels. The reason why I'm not doing that right now is because obviously I don't have the Tesla here, and I haven't had one in the whole time I've been doing this. What I have been doing, I've been taking hopefully very accurate measurements of a friend's Tesla, so that when my Corvair body is actually done and ready for the Tesla, it should fit fairly easily. But until that time, when I actually get it here, I don't know exactly how well it's going to fit. So therefore, it's a lot easier working with panels that have a little bit of flexibility. So I can tweak it here, tweak it there, line it all up, and then attach the stiffening to make the carbon fiber panels stiff as a rock. But until that time, I'm just doing the 4 layers of the carbon fiber cloth. So onto the cutting and the layup. One of the limitations that I'm facing right now is that, hey, I gotta lay out my carbon fiber. And as you can see, as I'm panning around, I don't have any table area where I can lay it out because the Corvair's in the middle. But alas, somebody stole my doors. There they are. I made a table out of them to cut my carbon fiber. First step in the process of laying it up. I'm going to take you through the process of actually laying it up and what all's involved with that. I use the epoxy resin which is 2 parts resin, 1 part catalyst. I mix it in the little cups here. I weigh it out with a 2-to-1 ratio, and then I use brush and roller to apply it and to smooth it out, and also my hands. Set it to 0. I'm going to make 9 ounces, so 6 ounces of the resin. And 3 ounces of the catalyst. Brings it up to 9. Gotta grab a stir stick. Stir it up nicely. Want to make sure it's well mixed so that the catalyst can do its work in all of it. Pour it in the pan. And now it's time to apply. Put on the gloves, because you definitely don't want to get stuck to your work. Stuff is very sticky and it has to be removed by acetone. So I'm going to cover all the parts, all the places where you want it to stick. I'm only going to do this part right here. The valance stays steel, as does most of the rear end. You don't want to apply too much, because then you're going to have a problem with it actually, the carbon actually sliding off the part that you're doing, because it is much of this is a vertical surface, and you don't want your whole thing ending up on the floor. You will be applying more on the top, which will actually penetrate into this to get full coverage. You actually use the epoxy by weight in correlation with the actual weight of the carbon fiber cloth that you're using and the total square yardage that you're applying, and that'll give you a pretty good estimate of how much epoxy you should be using to cover the whole area, and just apply it accordingly. I'm using the actual Corvair body as the plug, and my final product is actually going to be just taken right off of this. Now, because the buildup of the carbon fiber isn't really that great, it's comparable to about an 18 gauge sheet metal in thickness. So it doesn't add that much to the thickness. So it's a lot easier if you're doing a one-off like I am, just to use the plug. Because either way you're going to have to sand and finish it. Like if I was to make a mold off of the body and then do it from the mold, I would end up really making sure that the mold is perfect, and spend a lot of time sanding and making sure the plug is perfect, and then the mold on top of that. And so doing it this way, I don't have to be as particular. And then when the actual piece is pulled from this, I am going to have to work it and take out and make it perfect on the outside. But it actually saves a lot of work in the long run if you're only doing a one-off like I am. So now comes the fun part, because I am putting on a fairly large piece, and it does want to stick, but you don't want it to stick until you're ready for it. So the other thing is I didn't quite have enough of the I'm putting up four layers, and I didn't have quite enough of the four complete pieces. So on the fourth piece, which I'm putting on first, it's going to be one piece for about 3/4, and then the rest is going to be kind of patched, because I do have a lot of scrap from other areas that I built. So you want to kind of lay it down and watch where it's going. Obviously I still have tape on there, and that has to be removed prior to actually finishing this, because it will not stick. So what I'll probably have, some of them come off, some of them don't, and if it doesn't come off, you just gotta cut it off. You don't want that separating your layers of carbon fiber. This is why you definitely want to have gloves. Yeah, just like putting on a decal or whatever, you want to make sure that everything is flat, everything is attached. Okay, the rear quarter is finished. It's got to cure overnight. Maybe I'll give it 2 days before I pull it. It turned out pretty well. So that's the process. The next step is to pull it off, then cut back the sheet metal of the rear quarter, just leaving a flange to actually bond the carbon fiber to the original Corvair with most all of the quarter gone. It'll still be strong enough. I'm going to leave the back upper portion in steel and the lower valance. I'm going to actually close off the ducts in the back because that's actually going to be part of the trunk. So anyhow, until the next episode, take care. I'll see you then. Bye.